Good morning, one and all. Let's start with the new topic that is your neuromuscular coordination. When we are talking about coordination, please don't get confused with balance because balance and coordination are two different terms. So, coordination, we'll look into the contents coordination, what it is known as, what it means. Movements control with respect to brain, spinal cord, antagonist muscle, and kinetic sensation. So coordinated movement is known as a movement which is smooth, accurate, and purposeful, which is brought about by the integrated section of muscles superimposed on the basis of efficient postural activity. Let's split up the definition. The movement is nothing but smooth, which is accurate. Smooth is nothing but you want only biceps to contract, so only biceps is firing. Triceps is not firing. Accurate is you want the water picked up by your hand to reach the mouth. That is the accuracy. If you reach the ear, it is not accurate. So purposeful, you want to do that. You want to pick up the glass and drink water because you are thirsty. The purpose. So, coordinated movement is nothing but smooth, accurate, and purposeful. These three things are brought about not only by your muscle but efficient postural activity, which is superimposed by the muscle. Coming to the motor performance, which can be classified on the basis of these four things. With respect to brain, it can be voluntary, that is, I want to eat something, I will go to the kitchen, I'll open my lunch box, and then I'll eat something from the box. So this is voluntary. Involuntary is nothing but your respiratory system, respiratory muscles. You cannot control the respiratory muscles. You can control, you can achieve control, but that is involuntary as well. Coming to part B, that is with respect to spinal cord, withdrawal or reflex action. When you're touching something which is hot, which is not tolerable, you suddenly tend to withdraw your hand. That is nothing but withdrawal or reflex action. Coming to part C, that is with respect to antagonist muscle. I'll be discussing this. Coming to part D, that is kinesthetic sensation. So let's look at each of the point in detail in the further slides. Coming to the first one, that is with respect to brain. Imagine a person is hungry. So he will walk to the plate and then eat. That is all voluntary. His brain tells he is hungry, his brain knows where the food is present. So he's going to walk close the food and then eat it up. So that is nothing but with respect to brain, the motor performance with respect to brain. So, whenever movement is desired by the human being, that is voluntary, the brain initiates the movement, sending the impulse to the muscle at NMJ, that is your neuromuscular junction. Impulse once reaches the neuromuscular junction produces the action potential within the muscle. This action potential will cause contraction within the muscle, leading to the performance of walking. That's what we needed, right? Walk close to the food. That was a main motto of motor performance. Hence, walking close to the food is targeted by the brain. Brain tells the lower extremity you have to walk. Hence, brain sends the signals to the lower extremity so that the muscles of the lower extremity contract and relax, which makes the person to reach the food. The impulse is passed by the brain through the nerves to the NMJ, where the action potential is developed and the muscles tending to contract. So in the present scenario, it was walking, which required leg muscle to contract. This was with respect to brain, the motor performance with respect to brain. Coming to motor performance with respect to spinal cord. Imagine a scenario where a person is walking and suddenly he stamps on a thorn. So what he will do, he will suddenly withdraw from the thorn, withdraw his leg, move his leg away, or he will completely walk away. This is nothing but your motor performance with respect to spinal cord. So whenever a person needs to move his limb or contract a muscle suddenly away from something that is hot or something pricking, which is definitely causing pain or uncomfortableness to the patient, then the movement is usually generated at the level of spinal cord rather than your brain. The spinal cord acts as a reflex station so that the movement is produced immediately in order to withdraw apart from the pain. So this is motor performance with respect to spinal cord. Coming to when we talk about motor performance with respect to the few other structures, let's look at how the normal flexion and extension of the elbow looks. So take example this orange muscle to be your triceps brachii, humerus radius ulna, and the biceps brachii. When you want, I'll just erase off the biceps brachii so that the extension is visible. When the triceps brachii contracts, the elbow extends, whereas when the biceps brachii contracts, the elbow flexes. Did you all imagine one thing? I'll rewind the video. Look at the video again. When triceps brachii is contracting, the elbow is extending, whereas when biceps brachii is coming into picture and contracting, the triceps brachii is nil. It is electrically silent. It is not contracting. It is relaxed. So this is very important. Ideally, when triceps brachii is contracting, biceps has to relax. Whereas when biceps brachii has to contract, triceps has to relax. If this normal process is not happening, that is one muscle is contracting and the other muscle is relaxing, it is not happening, then the movement is not coordinated, it is definitely affected. Exception for this rule is isometric contraction, wherein your ergonist and antagonist are both equally contracting. That is, in our case scenario, our biceps brachii and triceps brachii are equally contracting, so that one certain position of the elbow is maintained throughout. That is known as isometric contraction. So now coming to with respect to the motor performance with respect to the antagonist muscle. Take the same scenario, that is triceps brachii, humerus, elbow, and the biceps brachii. This is your triceps brachii, humerus, and the biceps brachii. So these, the red structure, are nothing but your neural circuits. Consider they are your gamma nerves, gamma neural circuits, which are connecting the ergonomist muscle with the antagonist muscle. So, when biceps contracts, triceps is getting relaxed. When triceps contracts, biceps is getting relaxed. So these are nothing but your gamma neurons. Gamma neurons which are the nerves which send signal from contracting muscle to the antagonist muscle in order to inhibit the antagonistic muscle contraction. This is nothing but motor performance with the respect to the antagonist muscle. Coming to kinesthetic sensation, motor performance with respect to the kinesthetic sensation. When we talk about kinesthetic sensation, it is nothing but the sensation attained by the brain when the eyes is closed and the muscle is contracting or the limb is moving, not static. When the limb is moving, the person can tell in which direction it is moving due to the sensors present within the muscle, not joint. Sensors present within the muscle tell the brain that my limb is either moving in flexion or extension even if my eye is closed. That is nothing but kinesthetic sensation. There's one more term called as joint position sensation. Joint position sensation is when my eyes is still closed, joint receptors tell brain that my joint is in which position. That is nothing but static. Joint position sensation is nothing but a static position of the joint told by the joint receptors to the brain, even when the eyes are closed. Whereas kinesthetic sensation is nothing but a sensation arising from the muscle during its contraction, picked up by the receptors present within the muscle, telling the brain that my limb is moving in which direction. So now, when we understood what is kinesthetic sensation, we know the receptors are present within the muscle. But muscle has two parts, that is your tendon and the muscle. So hence the kinesthetic sensors are also two, that is your muscle spindle and the Golgi tendon organ. Golgi tendon organ, as the name itself says, it is present in the tendon, whereas muscle spindle, as the name itself says, it is present on the muscle fiber. So, how these work and when these work? Because when we are walking slowly, but when we are running faster. The movement is faster compared to the walking. So how my brain understands whether I'm walking slowly or I'm running fastly. So when we talk about two different sensation, they have two different functions. So Golgi tendon organ is going to pick up the faster signal from the muscle, whereas muscle spindle are going to pick up the slower functions from the muscle fiber. So take an example with a yellow thing as your muscle bulk, the grayish color to be your tendon, whereas the red spots are the Golgi tendon organs. When the muscle is contracting fast, look at the video. When the muscle is contracting fast, the signals are picked up by your Golgi tendon organs. So does the video represent. Muscle is contracting faster, Golgi tendon organs are active. Whereas when the muscle is contracting, see, I just now told. Whereas when the muscle is contracting slowly, what are active? Muscle spindle, that is which are present on muscle fiber. These are your muscle fiber, these are your muscle spindle. The muscle spindle and fiber, the quantity is not approximate for the muscle bulk, which is increased in size. So please remember, when it is slow contraction, it is picked up by the muscle spindle. I'll repeat it again. Kinesthetic sensation has two different sensors. That is your Golgi tendon organs, which are present on the which are present on the tendon part of the muscle, and the muscle spindles, which are present on the muscle fiber. When the muscle is contracting faster, Golgi tendon organs are active, whereas when the muscle is contracting very slowly, the muscle spindle or sensors which are present on the muscle fibers have become active, and then they send to the signal to the brain. This is nothing but motor performance with respect to the kinesthetic sensation. Thank you, one and all. This was the first part of coordination. Let's deal with the inner coordination in the next class.